Hi, I'm Joe Walensky, and I'm the program manager for the upcoming UX Writer Conference, which is going to be June 9th and 10th everywhere because it's going to be online. And so no matter where you're at, you'll be able to participate. No travel involved from the comfort of your own home. And I get the fun job of talking with our speakers ahead of time. And so today I'm chatting with Elley Searle. Hello, Elly.
Hello, Joe. Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, nice to talk to you. And we've kind of swum in the same circles for quite a while, so it's good to chat with you again. And I've been on Vashon Island, which is in the Seattle area. Where have you been holed up in?
I am also in the Seattle area. I am in Capitol Hill, which is a slightly denser, more urban neighborhood than Vashon Island. But yeah, it's I'm glad that we've got spring going on. There's amazing flowers everywhere, so it's been nice to get out.
Well, yeah, and hopefully, we'll be, emerging safely and healthy from things over the next month or two. But it'll be great to have you as part of the conference. And we'll talk about your topic. But why don't you just talk a little bit about kind of what your background is and how you ended up where you're at today?
Yeah, of course. And I always want to say thank you for working on pulling together a UX writing conference. I've been in the writing industry within sort of technical communications for a very long time now, and it's just so exciting to see this year how much more there is that's focused on UX writing. Like it's so exciting to see how that changed. So kind of the background that I have is I actually started in full-on technical support, network security, all of that. And I was an English major, and a friend's like, you don't really seem to like answering help desk calls, maybe. And you've got this writing background, so encouraged me to try out technical writing. And that, again, that was for network security. So enterprise, really technical. And it was a good fit with the fact that I'd had some of the actual hands-on technical experience, lived experience of supporting customers. And so I started with the long form writing, and my company was in Minnesota, and we acquired a company that was in Seattle, which was already at the forefront of technical communications with the University of Washington. And so they had a writer who already knew kind of what UX writing was and was helping in the interface. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I want to help people like not have problems in the first place. I want to get to them at that moment instead of waiting for when they got into the help documentation, which I kind of always assumed a hostile audience at that point. Like if they're reading your doc, something didn't go well in the interface. So I was able to sort of evolve. I was able to come out to the University of Washington and be in the Human-Centered Design and Engineering program at a time when they still had like the day masters, and really just was so fortunate to understand the usability testing side of it, just the fundamentals, the true user experience principles of it, and the design part of it. Like I actually considered as like, do I want to be a UX designer instead of a writer? Because UX writer wasn't a concept even. This is like 2009 even. There wasn't a real true UX writer role yet. But I just had such a background and love of the writing side of things. I joined with Microsoft in the glory days of Windows 8. But I got to be there when they were switching over their voice and tone to that truly conversational approach and really thinking about how would a human speak. And so it was a great time to be there. And then I moved from that. And so I was doing long form, but I also got to partner with my UX designers and my PMs and sit down and be like, oh, what do we want here? What do we want there? How do we want to call this? And really get it like just very hands-on and into the interface. And then I went on to Nordstrom. So I'd done sort of this consumer, really broad, it's like ordering pizza for 1 billion people. You just want cheese, like really, making it just kind of appealing to everybody. And then getting into the retail space where you got to be a little bit more refined. It's a low barrier to exit in retail. Like there's a lot of value in your UX writing. And it was fun to think about, like, how do you make it delightful? How do you make people happy at that moment? How do you make people that they absolutely understand everything that's happening? And so that was a great place to be for a while. And they called it a UX writer, and I was like, oh, that's the term. That's who I am. That's what I want to do. And they've done a fantastic job building up that department and that discipline. And then I got recruited for what was at that time a startup in endpoint security and cybersecurity, which didn't have some of that delight from the retail experience, didn't have that high bar of like, you really need to make it a better experience, like, or people will leave. Enterprise doesn't have that, right? It's like, if I write a much better error message, it's not going to make the company $2 million more like it did in retail. But I got to set up the technical writing department, which was, what my other experience was when I was a technical writer before. And set up the UX writing department. So I got to bring both of those to a company and say, hey, these are disciplines that deserve to be involved from the very beginning. Like when you're in concept, when you're planning what the product will be, when you're planning even what your engineers are writing, like what words they're using to label events and things in their APIs and all of that. And so I got to go to a company that was really excited to have somebody who wanted to come in and lead that. And they were very supportive, saying, yeah, we get it, that words are fundamental to how well our customers use our product. So it's been quite the journey, but I kind of love how everything kept building on each other, and how I'm so glad I had both the enterprise and the retail experience.
Well, that's what I'm going to say. It's almost as if you planned it all out. I mean, most of us, I think, look up one day and we're like, how did we get here? And you might feel that way too. But I mean, just you going through it, you kind of hit all of these, good, pivot points and decisions to change things. And somebody that, started out in technical communication, 20 years ago, I was, talking with my students and people at conferences that, there's some other ways of thinking about how to use our skills, but it requires a different way of thinking about digital products and different sensibilities and being involved more directly with the users, and unfortunately I feel like a lot of it just didn't feel accessible to a lot of people in traditional technical communication. But I mean, you did some of the hard work. You found your way into the HCDE program, which had itself pivoted from the technical communication program at the UW, and you got through that.
I was there when the name change happened.
What was that?
I was there when the name change happened. When I applied to the program, it was technical communications. And when I graduated, it was human-centered design and engineering. So yeah, I feel like I've really gotten to be at the forefront of a lot of these changes, which it's so exciting.
Yeah, and then finding still a good safe spot with Microsoft, where it's just starting to, change its ideas about conversation and tone and all the other things. So yeah, good on you for taking that, finding your way through those different challenges.
Yeah, and I should mention, it's such a great community here. So Tori Podmajersky and I worked together at Microsoft, and then I moved on to Nordstrom, and I realized I was like, not that many people know that what they're doing is UX writing, or know this UX writing role exists and is searching for it. I need to train people so I can hire them. And so and I knew Tori was just as passionate about it as I was and had teaching experience. So we approached Larry Asher at SBC and started teaching the UX writing fundamentals class, which has just really grown. And I'm just so proud of the Seattle area and how much we've really embraced UX writing as something that is a skill to be learned and is an entire discipline.
Yeah, Larry Asher's done great things with the school, and it's an excellent place to to learn new things like this. Let's talk about your topic at the event for just a few minutes. So the title of that is Help Engineers Write Better, Tools for Enterprise Content. So give us a little preview of what that's about.
Yeah, like I said, I've done the sort of the general sort of commercial, commerce-focused retail side, and then came back into the enterprise side. And I realized there's so much that could be written better. And it's sort of, people have seen the value. You can run A/B tests. You're running the metrics. Like I said, I literally had a great PM partner when I was at Nordstrom, and we found out there was like some messaging we did that had a direct impact on the bottom line. But you never see that in enterprise. So the bar is not as high, but I feel like these people are doing their jobs. They really they deserve to have really good, thoughtful writing. And there's that in the interface. There's the writing in the interface. But at a company like mine, we have APIs. And so every field has a description and has a name. And we've got detections when something goes wrong, and we've got a description of what that detection is. And that is how people know what to do next. Like, that's how they understand what's happening and what to do next. And a long time ago, there was just a whole bunch of errors that said bad packet. And I'm like, did the packet break curfew? Like, what did the packet do? Can we be a little bit more specific? It's like, okay, it's like a buffer overflow or something like that. So really figuring out a way to, and is it user facing? Is it customer facing? I've learned customers see everything at some point. You cannot be confident that the internal names you're using and the internal language you're using isn't going to show up in front of a customer at some point. So one of the things that I've been working on and been supported at in my company is finding different departments and being like, okay, you guys are, your team is churning out all of these descriptions. Let's really talk about what writing a good description entails. And so I kind of call it a Mad Lib style approach of saying, okay, here are just basic UX writing fundamentals, like clear, concise, conversational. And then for what you need to do in this space, you need to explain what happened, why it's bad, what they should do next. Like, just always, if you don't know anything else, like, make sure you know that you need to include those three things. And then here's ways to write that particularly well. And then partnering in particular with one engineer and being like, let's make a bunch of examples so that they can just steal them. They can copy them, that they're not starting with a blank slate. And so, and then, did that presentation for the entire team, and they did a really impressive job. I made sure that I thought about what is their workflow. I don't want them to have to go look something else up. I don't want this to be hard. I want this to be pretty memorable. And so I made sure that both what I was recommending they write made sense to them, but they're like, oh yeah, looking at before and after, I can see that's easier to understand. I would prefer to read that. So that motivated them to do the work, and just made sure that like all the tools they needed, any like references, that it was in their wiki, not mine, that I've done any work to think about their workflow to help them to write better. So yeah, it's I feel really fortunate that the engineers were so supportive of it, but it's made their jobs easier. Like, I've saved them time. They don't have to make as many decisions. And there's some sort of a right answer, and they can come to me if they're like, hey, I'm not sure about this one. But yeah, and so I realized that that's something a lot of engineering teams could benefit from, is having a content strategist or a writer come in and say, let's look at what you do, figure out if we can get you some sort of like plug and play version of it, and then give you some coaching on what to start with. So that's what I'm going to cover.
Well, it's great to have a chance to chat with somebody else who's really passionate about the types of things that we're involved in. Obviously, people are going to experience that and enjoy your session at the event. And so thanks for taking some time to chat with me today, and we'll see you online in just a few weeks at the UX Writer Conference.
Sounds good. Always a pleasure to chat with you, Joe.